Have you ever wondered what one decision you could make that could elicit a response from, oh my God, I can finally be myself around you, to you're dead to me?
Yeah. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. What is that decision?
Okay.
What is that decision?
My spiritual awakening.
Yes. Let's talk about it.
All right, so tonight, first of all, we want to thank you guys, the ones that we have gotten followed, watching our videos. We appreciate you. We got to get to 50 followers. We're at 10, right? 10?
Yes.
So we're a fifth of the way there.
Yes.
So like, share, follow, comment, all of that good stuff, so we can get to you live and we can have these discussions on camera with other individuals, because we really love to hear what other people are going through, how their spiritual awakening is affecting them, and what the topic tonight is, how it's affecting other people around you, and what you're noticing, what you're experiencing, looking at it from a healthy
standpoint, how to deal with it in a healthy way.
Yeah, in a healed state where it doesn't affect you the same way it would have, let's say, 2 years ago.
Right.
Or more.
Yeah.
So, yeah. You want to start us?
Well, one of the questions that you posed was, like, what happens when good things happen for us, but other people aren't happy for you?
Yeah. And that's so hard, because for me in particular, I come from a guilty background.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I feel guilty if I have something more of what somebody else has, and that's really hard. Because, I mean, of course you want them to be happy for you.
Mm-hmm.
But you are learning that happiness only comes from within.
Right.
So it's hurtful sometimes, but looking at it from the healthy standpoint is, you realize it's not you, it's them.
Right.
That have the, I'm going to be who I am, which is part of, like we talked about earlier, like, I'm going to be who I am. I'm not going to shove it down your throat. You're not going to shove you down my throat, but I'm going to be who I am. And if that is not something that, I'm not going to dumb myself down or make myself unhappy to match your energy, because I'm happy.
But that's not to be confused with, I know a handful of people that are like, I am who I am, and if you don't like it, you can piss off, and I'm not changing for anybody.
Yeah.
Like, that's not healthy, and someone that's not willing to change under any circumstance is not healthy.
Right. That's, yeah.
But, like, as an example of this, I can't say how my awakening affects other people, because that would be assuming. So I asked the other people in my life. And one person said, it's on my phone so I can't read it.
Right.
But basically, like, it was really annoying, and it made her very mad, because I come from a Christian fundamentalist doomsday cult.
Mm-hmm.
And I was deep in it for a minute. Well, from birth, but then I got back into it really heavy. And both of my daughters had already started their awakening. And the one was like, I couldn't be myself around you because you would judge me, or you would shut me down, or you would make me feel bad. So I had to hide myself, that part of myself, from you. And you made me feel bad about myself. And then you started your awakening, and you went deeper than I ever even thought of. And that's all you talked about for a while, because that's what happens.
Yeah.
And so it pissed me off, and I was annoyed. And like, where was this when I was going through it? And you were judging me and making me feel bad. But since then, we've been able to talk, and now we learn from each other and teach each other, and we're growing together in it.
Yeah.
But she had it pissed her off.
Yeah. And I can see that with what I said. Like, I'm not going to cram it down your throat. You don't cram yours down my throat, and we live in harmony.
Right.
But I understand, because the excitement, and you get so much fulfillment, and you get all of this energy and this positive, and you just want to share it with people. I just want to share it because
Right.
if I can experience it, you can experience it.
But I want to share it with the one that I judged for it
Yeah,
and made her feel bad about it.
yeah, yeah.
And so, yeah, I have to do my own stuff with that. But we're good now.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And then your other daughter?
Well, that was a good reaction. So we'll do her later.
Okay. I didn't get much of a reaction. My son was like, I don't know, which is typical.
Boys will be boys.
Boys will be boys, yeah.
I had a girl ask me in the shop, the one that she came in, I don't know if he was her man, I couldn't tell, but she waited until he left, and she's like, does everybody have spiritual gifts? Like, does everybody have intuition? I know it sounds like a stupid question. I'm sorry. And I'm like, no, it's not a stupid question.
Yeah.
Yes. I feel like she was talking about her guy.
Um,
Because I'm like, but it's okay, because guys just say, I'm just really good at reading people. But that's their intuition. And she
Yeah.
started laughing just like you did.
yeah.
And she's like, okay, thank you.
Let's see.
So she's just starting her spiritual awakening.
Yeah.
And she's got questions.
Yes, that's
So.
awesome. Okay, so what happens when people are not happy with your changes and or you set up boundaries? Well, I'm sorry.
One of the
Sounds so cold, but
really, really hard things about going through your spiritual awakening is the fact that you lose a lot of people.
yeah,
It's rather lonely
it is.
at first until you learn not to be lonely.
Yeah.
It changes.
Through your shadow work, there's a lot of changes that come to fruition.
Right. But it's difficult, and you have to grieve the process
Very much so.
of losing people, especially some people you didn't think you would lose.
Yeah.
And it's setting boundaries with other people, because for a lot of people, boundaries are an extremely difficult thing to do,
Yeah.
because a lot of us are people pleasers.
Yeah.
Especially the empaths.
Yeah. Yeah.
The unhealed empaths.
Oh, very much so. The
Yeah.
unhealed empaths. But even with being a healed empath, I mean,
It's still tough. It's always tough.
you always have healing to do, and they're always going to throw you a curveball to see how you're going to react to it. But just because we're awakening and life is good doesn't mean there aren't still struggles that are going to continue on, like throughout the rest of your time.
Right.
But based on your healing factor, that determines how you react to it, or you.
Right.
But yeah, getting back to topic, because I have a tendency to get off topic at times.
Well, and two, just because you're in your spiritual awakening, it doesn't mean you have to share it with everybody.
True.
That does not mean you're masking. That does not mean you're inauthentic.
No.
I've got some family members who have no idea about mine
Right.
because of the ramifications. Not for me,
Right.
because honestly, some of them I could do without.
Yes.
But I have to be there for them.
Yeah.
They're still in the cult. And so if they find out how bad of an apostate I am, they have to shun me,
Oh.
which is really fine by me.
Right.
But they're elderly, they're sickly, like they need my help.
Yeah.
And I guess I do want to help them. I'm choosing to help them, or else I'd tell them. So just because I'm not sharing that part of myself with them, it doesn't make me inauthentic,
Right.
because I still speak my truth around them.
Yeah.
I just do it in a softer way.
Mm-hmm.
And there's more to me than just my spirituality. It's a big part of me,
Right.
but it's not the only part of me.
Right.
So I just,
Use the other parts.
right,
Yeah.
right.
And that it's to me it's a sense of respect
Mm-hmm.
that if you are not comfortable with my spirituality or how I'm living my life or whatever, that's absolutely okay.
Right, I'm not going to throw it in your
respect
face.
you. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, I'm not going to shove it down your throat. So does that mean, just like politics? I don't talk politics.
Right,
Does that mean I'm not going to ever talk to you? No, we'll find something else to talk about.
exactly.
And that's okay because, again, that's the healthy version.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not getting defensive because they don't want to hear you or whatever, because you're in that confidence of who you are yourself.
Right, but I get pushback about that. Well, if you want to live your true authentic life, you need to tell it. I don't need to tell anybody anything that I don't want to.
And that's the thing. There's so much going on in here that I don't. I used to talk and talk and talk, but now I think about, does that something? And one of the other things I'll try to remember, but is it really necessary for me to say? Is it going to add to anything or whatever? Is it truth? There's like 3 different topics. Is it truth? Is it something else and something else before you speak it?
Mm-hmm.
And is it helpful? Is it demeaning? Or so a lot of that has changed my way of conversing with people.
Yeah.
Because now a lot of times I'm working really hard at it, but I just shut up and back off and let people talk because.
Oh, you find out so much doing that.
Oh, well, that too, but
But yeah.
I mean, sometimes sometimes people just need to talk, and
Right.
I need to be quiet so they can just talk and get it off their chest or whatever the fact is. But so getting back to kind of like when they're not happy with your changes, I'm not going to apologize for me being true to myself and becoming my true authentic self,
Right.
because that's a priority.
Yeah.
It should be a priority for everyone to get good and right with themselves and fill that cup, because you
Right.
can't give from an empty cup. So I mean, if that means that we go our separate ways and it sucks, but I have to follow me.
Right. Or we have a relationship and we just leave that bit out of it. Just like the politics.
Oh, yeah. But then on the other hand, because I also wrote down here, like, what about when they don't care what you do? Or they're not as supportive? And that would be kind of like,
You don't have
in
to
a
support me.
relationship, you just leave that part out of it. But, I mean, like, yeah, to me it's kind of a double-edged sword, because I want to know that it's important to you like it is important to me.
Oh no.
But that's in finding your person, though.
Right. Yeah.
When
You'll be able
find your people.
Right.
It kind of becomes like that. But not that I, like I'm gonna shun anybody else because they don't believe in what I believe in, or I don't want to say they don't believe in what I believe in.
Right. But if we were only friends with people that supported us in all the stuff that we believe in,
Yeah.
we're not going to have very many people.
No, that's true. I mean,
But it's like, okay, like with my one child, I 1000% disagree with your decisions right now. I
Yes.
think you're making a bad choice. It's going to turn out really bad.
Yeah.
I'm your mom. I love you.
Yeah.
I'll be over here.
But
when you need me,
yeah,
I'm
you're
here.
over here.
But
Yeah.
I cannot support this decision. It's okay for people to not agree with us and not support us.
Absolutely.
Does it affect the friendship? Well, we're not going to be as close of friends,
Well,
but it doesn't mean you're dead to me.
right. And two, looking at it from a healthy, healed version of it's okay.
Right.
I mean, you know, in my mind always, and I'm sure that's just like a cult mind or whatever, eventually
You'll come
see
around.
the light.
Well,
The
now we
awakening.
know how we've gotten into those relationships that we've gotten into.
Yeah, I
Are we
know.
falling in love with, what is
Potential?
it? Potential. Yeah.
I think that happened. But you know what? I fell in love with me, so I'm good.
Right.
I know me.
Good. Good.
So yeah, what was one of the other topics that we were talking about?
When people don't understand you, which let them,
Right.
or mock you.
Yeah, for what is happening.
Not your people.
No, certainly not your people, and those are the people that you just kind of go, eh. 'Cause
Right.
you know the universe is going to take care of that.
Yeah.
Because that's the other thing about being an awakened, in your awakening and through your awakening state, people don't understand how much protection you are under from spirit world.
Right.
Like,
But you know, and I'm different.
no, I know.
I really enjoy people that have different beliefs than me
Mm-hmm.
because, well, this might be controversial.
Mm.
I like people that are not my people because how am I going to learn different perspectives if I only surround myself with people that think the way I think?
Yeah.
So I like people that you want to pick fun at me because then I can see a different perspective that I wouldn't have thought of before.
Right.
And it helps me expand.
Yeah.
Does that mean I'm not going to mock back later when I'm feeling a little petty? Because it's all about balance.
Exactly.
You can be petty as long as you
I love
meditate
it.
afterwards.
It's balance. I love it. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, no, I get that. So yeah, in both perspectives, like the karma bus could come and get you because we're under protection, but also, you know, you're right about seeing the different perspectives and understanding everybody,
yeah.
emotions
But that makes me think of, okay, if somebody's mocking me, that's a them thing.
and
So where is that line between love and light, understanding? I see the perspective. I want to keep my high vibe. So I'm going to excuse them because I have empathy and I can see where they're coming from. Where's the line there so that you don't get stuck in that toxic positivity that a lot of spiritual people have,
yes,
and the ability to use your discernment?
right,
Like-
so that you're not taken advantage of.
Right. That's a slippery slope. You have to be careful with that one because a lot of people are like, no, I need to keep my vibration high. I can't lower my frequency. Well, I hope you do. Think of speakers. You keep your frequency high, you're going to blow.
Yeah.
You got to come up and down.
Mm-hmm.
Balance.
Yeah, exactly.
So you have to be careful not to let yourself fall into that trap
Mm-hmm.
because it does become toxic because now you're a target for everybody to take advantage of you
Yeah.
because you're an empath.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way.
Yeah. You still have to set those boundaries and say no.
Right.
And, you know, if that makes you look bad, well, it makes you look bad. But those boundaries are important because, and the other thing that, like with my son growing up, I always said, you know, what you put out there, you get back.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then we had an absence for a while, and I didn't get to fill in the parts of, but what you put out there, you get back. But it's still okay to get angry.
Absolutely.
It's still okay to, you know, lash out, not in a violent way, but I mean, like when you hit your limit, by all means say so, because that's that pent up.
Well, your anger is your self-respect and your dignity, and it's letting you know when someone's crossing that boundary and asking something of you that's not okay.
Right.
That anger is so important.
Yeah, it's an emotion, and you can't just.
You can't. Yeah, because that's something
Balance.
I tell people because I get that a lot. Well, I thought you were supposed to be high vibe and love and light and shit. Well, even Jesus turned over tables.
Yes.
Even Jesus got pissed.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah, we're spiritual beings.
right.
So yeah. So my other thought was, when people are supportive, what does that look like? Yay, party time.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, now the other daughter.
yeah. Yep.
Okay, I'm paraphrasing because I can't remember because it was kind of long. Because I was judgy with her too. 'Cause my kids are all so different. But her thing was, she never really believed in God. But her family, the ones closer to her more so, well, that didn't sound right. Because I super did. I was judgy about it. But anyway, she went along and acted like she believed because she didn't want to be seen as bad or she didn't want to go to hell. And so she totally wasn't able to be herself. Not because of her own belief system, but us around her. And she said, when I started my awakening, it allowed her to be more herself. Because I'm so bad at retelling stuff, paraphrasing, but it's like she's more comfortable making room for those she loves rather than herself.
Yeah.
And so now there's someone that believes the way she believes. She feels comfortable. Like, we can stand together against those people.
Yeah.
And it really helped her open up more and explore more and just be more herself and happier.
Yeah.
So,
And her gifts are coming out like,
so yeah,
yeah. She's like the lotus flower.
absolutely.
Yes. Yep. And then my daughter, she said, once I finally found myself.
Once you got out of your Bible thumpy years.
Once I, well, I think it was different. There was another period of time that, but yeah, once I kind of like discovered me and who I was and chose me, then, she was excited and noticed the difference and that was kind of her way of having an example.
Yeah.
And so, but she's, from the time that she was young, she was always involved with, done meetings for years and had groups and stuff like that. So she was introduced to it at a very young age. My son was a little bit older, and he was more not happy with his gifts because they would kind of scare him a little bit. And the house we lived in was pretty active with, things.
Geez.
Yeah. So both my kids had scary instances with spirit or whatever you want to call the
Yeah, but your son,
critters.
he doesn't like it because it doesn't go in his favor.
Well,
If you told him things he wanted to hear, he'd be a lot happier with it.
that's true.
It's like, oh no, that's not the girl. Damn it, Mom!
Quit looking at my.
Let me have a little fun first.
Yeah, I'm not gonna send you any more pictures.
Right?
But as I always say though, live your life. Just because it's something I saw doesn't mean, one, that it's gonna come to true, but usually it does. But anyways,
Have free will
it's
and all
about
that.
the journey. It's not about the destination.
Right. And not everyone is the one. Sometimes you
No.
need the right now one to learn lessons so you
Yes.
can heal stuff.
Exactly. And there are people out there willing to do that for you. Just kidding.
Where are they at? Send me numbers. I need numbers. Give me the digits.
Digits.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, I feel like this might be a good spot
Mm-hmm.
to call it on the Facebook.
Yeah.
Time constraints and video
Fun stuff.
editing constraints.
Yep.
So we're gonna finish this up
Yes.
over on the Tube of the Use.
Yes.
So go over there, catch us on the flip side,
That's
and
right.
we'll do part 2.
Yep. All right, here we go.